panic disorder, rage, severe depression. On top of all that, I'm stressing. Took a blind date to my therapy session and then tried to kill her. Her first impression was I'm groovy, I need a lumbotomy. But when I press play, trouble leaves up out of me. Fuck the real world and my fat ass stuck in. Cause in my music, hotties are fucking expression. Getting out all I wrote, depression, ripping out all your throat. And if my hearing was ever to go, mass murder would be inevitable.
Welcome to another episode of Maniacal Music Musings. That's right, your favorite musers are back once again. I'm your host, as always, Jeremy. And, you know, I want to rule the world. That's always been my dream since I was a little kid watching Pinky and the Brain. I wanted to rule the world. It's my anthem in a way, and I'll be singing it till my ghost opera commences. You know, you could set me straight, but I'm just going blind on this earth trying to make my best way forward. My co-host, though, he is a gift for you in a way. He's louder than words. He goes against the tide, riding a Blackstar like it's his anthem. And in the silence of the darkness, he will give you a morning star and ride his night goat into oblivion. Motherfucking Chancy Greif!
Hi.
Every time. It makes me laugh every time. If we get the guests to laugh, it's an extra bonus, but it makes me laugh every time, and that's the point. So, but yes, your musers are back once again, and we are here to entertain you with our musical choices, and we can't do that without a guest. And our guest this week is CJ Plain, the music god, host of the Noize Report podcast, and he runs his own YouTube reaction channel as well, which I've watched a few. They're pretty freaking awesome. So check them out. Check them out. But CJ, how you doing tonight?
I'm awesome, man. How are you guys?
Well, I know you're awesome, but how you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I'm getting ready to start these college courses to learn to be a record producer, and life is good, man. I woke up on this side of the dirt, so you know, that's always a good start to the day.
Well, Munchkin's rooting you on, so there you go. But and yes, we are here as always to discuss. Enough rooting, Munchkin. We're here as always to discuss these albums 3, which we have brought forth this week. And as always, we are the generous, kind people we are. I said enough rooting. And we are here to start with our guest albums, of course, because that's just how we do things here. So, CJ, what album did you bring, and why did you bring it?
I brought Wish Upon a Blackstar by Celldweller. It was a hard choice because I had 3 or 4 that I was kind of waffling back and forth about, but really wanted to do this one because this is such a great record. It has so many different styles and soundscapes in it, and the guy, it's Clayton, you know, is an absolute musical genius, producer. Worked with everybody. He's worked with Chris Angel. He's worked with, you know, a who's who's list of other people, and kind of a one-man show. So what you hear on this record is basically Clayton being Clayton, you know. So, but it's really a record, I think, more than anything that, like I said, I had so many different sounds and styles in it, you know, between the dubstep and the electronica and the metal and the industrial side to it, and you know, the kind of atmospheric Floyd stylings that are in it. And it's really, even with all of those different elements, it's still very melodic. And it's a concept record, you know, it tells the story of Blackstar, Planet Blackstar. And it's a killer record to me. It's one of my top 5 records. So
Nice.
Well, Chancy, I'll let you go first this episode. What did you think of his record?
I mean, honestly, I wasn't ready for it when I first listened to it, but I mean, I got ready pretty quick. I'm a fan of, you know, of a lot of electronic music, whether it's electronica, you know, EDM, dubstep, standard old school techno, stuff like that. And then, you know, like the industrial element with that metal inclusion. I was pleasantly surprised. And that entire section of instrumentals. I thought that was a pretty, you know, honestly, to be honest, when I was looking at the track list and listening to it, I was like, so we finally went out and found a guest that wanted to fuck with me. All right, here we go. Because it's got all of my things. The only thing it's missing is like skit tracks. You got a good solid intro. You got a solid outro. You got a solid section of instrumentals. And then, you know, it's got good music in general. But then I'm thinking to myself, like, it's got all these things that just tick off all the boxes for any other show that we do. I was like, this guest is fucking with me.
It wasn't that at all. Like I said, it's just, it's one of them records that really, you know, I'm very eclectic in my music taste.
Yeah.
Whether it's, you know, Pink Floyd or Blue October, whether it's Charlie Daniels, B.B. King, Bob Marley, whether it's Slayer, Creator, I like different sounds, and I love it when artists think outside of the box. And this is one of them records where I can put it on in the car when I'm driving, and it makes me want to drive fast, you know, because it's got that heavy bass, it's got that beat to it, it's melodic, so you can sing along to it, but it's got that kind of dubstep edge to it that makes it that aggressiveness. And it's really just it's an adventurous record in that aspect of he does so much on this record that, you know, but it's still, even with all of the different styles clashing together, he still keeps it together, and it's very melodic and listenable, and it's not like abrasive like, say, Machines of Loving Grace per se, where it's just very abrasive to listen to. You know, I admire Clayton a lot because, you know, the dude really is a terrific songwriter and instrumentalist and whatnot. So,
and I mean, well, one, it's funny you mentioned Slayer and BB King because we actually had one of our first episodes that we had, the first episode we ever had a guest on. They brought
Eric Clapton and BB King.
Yeah, they brought Eric Clapton and BB King's Riding with the King. And
nice.
And we also, Chancy brought Slayer, it's
Raining Blood.
Yeah, is that the name of the album? I didn't think it was. That's
Yeah.
How I want to say it. Okay.
Yeah.
So we've had both those artists on this show before. The other ones we haven't had on the show, but I'm sure we'll get there eventually because every episode it's always new artists. But well, from the guests usually. From us, it's not always new artists because we like to bring a lot of the repeat artists on, whether it be Dogfish and Disco or Nightwish or Powerwolf, but among others.
Love Nightwish.
Oh, my man. I should have brought fucking Nightwish then. It would have been like it would set a record for like the 5th or 6th time I brought him on. But
no, it's you know, it's funny. Like my music collection, I've got like 2.7 million songs across about 100 genres. So my big challenge is when I do stuff like this, it's finding a record that is different, but not so out there that people haven't heard it. Like one of my first thoughts was I'm going to do Maximum the Hormone. That's like one of my favorite bands, but they sing in all Japanese and they're so kind of left field that most people don't get it, other than the shock factor of, you know, they listen to Maximum the Hormone and they're like, what the fuck did I just listen to? Because it's so all over the place. So I tried to choose something that was different, but at the same time, you know, not completely out of left field and not unlistenable.
Right.
And I didn't want to do any easy picks either. Like I could have easily done Beastie Boys' License to Ill, or you know, I could have done Isham, or I could have done Nodis, or I could have done
you said Isham. You said
easy, Jeremy.
Yeah,
easy,
like
Jeremy.
Dude, like I'm telling you, like I get this all the time when people see my nickname, the Music God. They think it's, oh, he's just being cocky, but it's really not. Trust me, my musical knowledge, it's insane. Like it's beyond most people. And it's not just one genre. It's 150 genres from all over the world. You know, I can talk about music from Kazakhstan. I can talk about reggae, punk, metal, jazz, blues, reggae. I can talk about Mongolian throat singing all day long. And, you know, that's the thing. Like I have this stupid knowledge of music that is completely useless for anything other than stuff like this. So,
well, I think we found a recurring guest here, but and the fact that you said Isham just made me jump with joy, like I just had my first orgasm. But
I love Isham. I've been listening to Isham.
Thank you.
Way back in the day. Like I live right near Detroit. So
okay. Juggalo by chance?
Yeah. Long time. Juggalo.
My man.
You know, I get this all the time. Like, here's the funny thing. I'm not an Eminem fan. And I'm well known for this. Everybody, Eminem's the greatest of all time.
My ass.
He can't be the greatest of all time. He's not even the greatest in Detroit.
Thank you. Thank you.
What do you mean he's not the greatest in Detroit? Fat Father, King Gordy, Race to 5'9", Aztec the Barfly, Foul Mouth, Bang Belushi. I could go on all day of rappers who would absolutely eat Eminem alive.
Yeah.
You know, I've been listening to Isham since. I see it.
Showing that off a little bit.
You know, I've been listening to Isham since Judgment Day 1. You know,
the first episode of this show, I brought on Booming Words from Hell.
Well, that's a whole vibe that most people won't even get, man. Or Nodis, Life After Death.
Yep,
that's another record. That was one of the records, because when I listened to the one show, I seen the Isham Booming Words from Hell episode, and that was my very first thought is I'm going to bring Nodis Life After Death.
I would have loved you if you did. I would have,
but I was kind of like, I think it's just going to be kind of beyond most people's brain span, I guess. But but I'll come back anytime, bro. Like trust me, I can do this for hours and hours, all day, every day, and not even scratch the surface of what I can bring. So, you know,
we'll see how this goes, but I mean, it could definitely be a monthly thing, even because we love people who actually know music to a point where they actually can go different genres and stuff. I mean, a lot of people we bring on, they like one or two genres and that's it. Like you try to bring on something else, and they're going to be like Chancy tries, like even the last guy we had on Saturday, Chancy brought Lamb of God, and he was like, it's a little too heavy for my taste, but
no,
and like, oh yeah, there you go. But a lot of stuff. Like me and Chancy have both brought on stuff that guests are like, what the fuck? Like I brought on Scum to a show, and Chancy was sick and not feeling well, so he couldn't even finish the record. And our guest was like, I couldn't even like listen to a couple tracks. He's like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy?
Well, let alone they thought that it was my record, not yours.
Well, that was the funny part. They thought it was Chancy's record because he has it was a friend of ours, kind of, and he and Chancy's known for having a sense of humor in our circle that's kind of morbid. I mean, my sense of humor is usually more sexual in nature, but
Nice.
so I mean, when I brought Scum, they immediately thought it was Chancy's album, and I don't even remember what Chancy brought that episode. But I mean,
it was Biggie Smalls.
Oh yeah, you bought Notorious. And,
yeah, I brought fucking Life. What is it? Ready to Die.
Yeah. And like that was my album, and that was the funny part because like I brought Scum because Scum's one of my favorite. I've seen Scum live. I got pictures on Facebook with Scum at a bar, so like doing Jaeger bombs. So
nice. I've seen Gigi Allen live, so
oh nice.
I stood far back from the stage, but
yeah, I was gonna say, did you have like did you have plastic sheeting up,
we
or
were at the very back of the club by the bar, but it was a Blind Pig in Ann Arbor. It was after one of his prison stints. He had been out for about a week and a half and did a show at the Blind Pig, and typical chaos ensued, and he ended up getting arrested for cutting some guy with a beer bottle. Because apparently his parole officer, he couldn't be in possession of a weapon. And even though it was a beer bottle, it was broken. So the parole officer basically said it was a weapon, and he violated his parole by being in possession of a weapon.
Jesus.
It was like, come on, that's a gray area, dude. Like, it's not like he's carrying it around in his pocket or anything. Or
yeah, I mean,
it's Gigi Allen. He might have been,
I was gonna say that's not. Yeah, don't put anything past old Gigi.
Yeah,
but the funniest thing was the Scum concert we went to. I took my cousin with me, who's not really a juggalo by nature, but like he will go to these concerts with me because he finds them fun and he likes to go out and drink and have a good time and smoke a shitload of weed. So we went to a Scum, Ex Murder Boys, Lex the Hex Master, and a couple local artists and all of a sudden we're rocking out the Scum as the final act on stage, and Scum starts humping a sack that's supposed to be a dead body.
Nice.
And my cousin's like, what is he doing? And I'm like, that's supposed to be a dead body. He's humping it. My cousin's like, I'm gonna go sit at the bar. Tell me when this is over. Yeah. So I mean, not everybody gets Scum like us.
I'm the old school juggalo type. Like, I'm the guy who knows about Simkin Heights. I know about Lucifer. I know about Q Strange. I know about, I think most people have long forgotten. So,
I haven't met Q Strange, but I met a rapper named Q Tip who's done stuff with like Mandel and stuff.
Q Strange, he did 3 records. He only did 3 records, and they were concept records about a serial killer. And they were very good records, but they were very different records. Like, they were very high art. I mean, it was very, very juggalo-ish horrorcore style, but it was very high art in the sense of like
which most juggalo records are not high art. They're just basically kill, murder, rape. Yeah.
Yeah, like if you can kind of imagine KSR1 doing a juggalo style record, that's kind of what Q Strange did.
Okay, you just gave me 3 records to listen to then, because I love KRS-One, and the picture of him doing a juggalo record is just beyond my fantasies.
Yeah, it's definitely a horrorcore record, but Q Strange he's a very talented rapper. He uses a lot of very technical words and he's a much he's more of the Chino XL type of rapper than he is, say, the Violent J type of rapper. So he says a lot of big words and a lot of technical words, and you're kind of like, okay, you don't hear a lot of horrorcore rappers using Habla Blangata and shit like that, I mean,
when you hear ICP straight up say "I'm back like a vertebrae," like you get used to lowbrow lyrics. So, but
I'm saying, like, there's a place for all of it. Like,
yeah, there is.
It really, it's music is one of the things to me. Like, look, if I don't like something, I just don't listen to it. I'm not going to talk bad about it. And that's the thing with Eminem. I don't hate Eminem. I just don't connect to Eminem.
See,
Eminem has never said anything that hits me or connects to me mentally and makes me want to listen to it. Now, NF is the complete opposite. Even though he sounds like Eminem, I relate to NF because he talks about his struggles with depression and his struggles with his mom dying and shit like that. And I relate to that personally because I've dealt with it. So I'm cool with NF. And
wait a minute, you say NF. I never heard of NF.
You've never heard NF?
I mean, maybe I have,
Christian,
but I think
the Christian rapper who sounds just like M.
No, okay, I definitely Christian rap alone.
Oh,
like
dude.
the only Christian rap I know is ICP, technically.
Dude, NF is an amazing rapper, okay? But what sets him apart is his videos are mind-boggling, bro. Like the dude that this kid works with to do his videos are like fucking Spielberg type movies, man. Like the way he'll do a video and it'll be a piece of a story. Then the next one will continue it and it'll continue it. And he's done this over 6 records with the black balloons and the rooms going from room to room, signifying different emotions. And it's mind-boggling, bro. Like this kid is just a different kind of artist, you know. Like he sounds like M. Like when you hear his voice, you'll definitely, there's no denying.
All right. If we have you back on, bring your favorite album of his. And I already have an album I want to bring for you because I know you'll appreciate it. But I'm not going to say what it is yet, but I want to bring it. And I've been waiting for someone to bring it with that. Because I know Chancy will like it. But I need a guest to appreciate it. And it's either you or it's got to be like this Juggalette couple I know who are. Well, actually, have you heard of a rapper? Have you heard of a rapper named Casket the Monster?
I haven't, no.
You should check him out. He's been in our show before, and I'm friends with him and his his wife in like 5 days. But like they've both been on our show, and she started rapping now too. And like he's actually a decent rapper. He's a wrestler as well. He's a amateur wrestler, but he's a cool guy, and his rap's really good. Like it's right in the Juggalo scene. But they actually just came out and commented lately on Facebook and Instagram, like, and did videos about like the whole Violent J pedophile thing that's going on right now. But
I haven't heard anything about that.
Well, basically, Violent J is getting blamed for doing what every rock and rap artist does and not IDing people when they come on the bus. But we won't go into that now because this isn't a political show about that type of shit. But as far as your album goes, I have never heard of Celldweller to today, and I am disappointed in myself for that fact. Because one, it's progressive metal, which is what the internet defines it as far as you want to take that. But a lot of the bands that are in progressive metal I've heard of, including some of Chancy's favorite bands like Dog Fashion Disco and Meshuggah. But I like a lot of bands in there as well because they're also symphonic metal bands. They're classified as, which kind of we'll get into more into that when we break to my CD. But so I never heard of Celldweller. I enjoyed the fuck out of this CD. Like my wife actually made me leave the room because she didn't like it, but I enjoyed the fuck out of it. And I was getting hints though of like it reminded me of when Korn did
the thing with Skrillex.
Yeah, when they did the thing with Skrillex, I can't think of the name of the CD right now. I think it's Chaos or something like that. But
this actually came out probably about 6 years before that.
Yeah, I noticed that, but I mean, that's what reminded me of right away is like the thing Korn did with Skrillex, which I love that fucking CD. So like that right away, like gave me good vibes. And then in some of the songs, it almost sounded like he was Chester, like from Linkin Park.
Yeah.
I could hear Chester's voice in some of the songs. I was like,
yeah,
what the fuck? Like, I'm like, I asked my wife, like, do you hear Chester from Linkin Park in this? And she's like, no, but she never hears why I hear music. So I mean, I'm not surprised by that in the slightest, but
that's the thing with Clayton. Like Clayton can be very melodic, or he can just let that, that heaviness out, and he can really just effortlessly kind of slide back and forth between the styles and he mixes them so well. Like, everything on that record is Clayton. He plays every instrument. He produces everything. He samples everything. That's just his thing. And, I mean, the dude, it's a higher level of thinking than most artists do. It really is. Like, your typical musician and producer could not mix that many styles together cohesively and make it sound as good as Clayton does, and Clayton, he only does a record every 5 or 6 years. And that's why, because he's kind of a mad scientist. Like, it takes him that long to fit all the pieces together. And what's cool about it is, even after that, Clayton, when he released this record, after he released the record, on his website, he released all the stems, all the samples, everything for all of the fans. And he said, I'm having a contest. I want you guys to take all of these stems, these samples, and remix these songs and send them to me. And if I like them, I'm going to put a record out featuring your samples and whatnot, and he's done numerous records like that where, on this one, he did one called Blackstar Remixed, and it's just a whole bunch of internet people who took all of his jigsaw pieces and added their own flair to it. And there's some really amazing remixes on that record of people, some are famous, some are not. And I love that, he does that, because that shows a level of, again, interaction with your fans you don't see most artists do. You're never going to see Death Punch or Shinedown or somebody just be like, here's all the pieces of our songs. Go ahead and make your own version of it, And what's even cooler is when he does it, he completely credits that person and he pays them and he makes sure that they get the credit and the recognition. And I mean, come on, dude. Like, that's probably damn near priceless for some of these. A lot of these guys are probably bedroom producers who would never get the recognition otherwise.
Yeah.
So to have somebody like Clayton come along and say, hey, here's this awesome DJ who remixed my song and I'm going to put it on a record and I'm going to pay them royalties and whatnot for this remix. That's freaking awesome to me. Like, like that's
it is
level of dedication.
I mean, I enjoyed the hell out of it, and it brought me back to a band that I went through a lot of bands trying to pick my CD, which I'll get to in a minute, but like it just the adventure your CD sent me down brought me back to like 5 years ago when I was going through like the Wikipedia list of symphonic metal bands.
Nice.
And it was a trip down memory lane, and there are so many bands I had to revisit because they put out new CDs and I had no idea they did. So I got to revisit a lot of bands now, and I'm going to be bringing a lot of bands to this show. Sorry, Chancy, that are like not probably Chancy's cup of tea, but still, like, it's just bands I love, and they are like this. I like concept albums. Concept albums are one of my favorite fucking things in the world. That's why I love Nightwish. That's why I love Avantasia. That's why I love a lot of those bands from like Europe and whatnot. And some American bands as well, but yeah.
Yeah. That's why Pink Floyd is my favorite band of all time, because, it's just, that's what Floyd does is, some of the greatest concept records of all time, whether it's The Wall, whether it's Dark Side of the Moon, whether it's The Final Cut,
I have to get into Pink Floyd more. I've given them chances before, but I just can't get into them fully. Like, no. I don't know why. I mean, I don't know if I have to drink. I don't know if I have to be drinking or smoking, but
no, Floyd is like that. Floyd is a band that you're gonna love or you're gonna hate. And I wasn't a fan of Pink Floyd for many, many years growing up. And then I just right place, right time, and I was in the right frame of mind, and it kind of hit me, and I was like, damn.
Well, yeah,
so.
I can see that. I mean, I'm in the middle. I don't love them, but I don't hate them. I mean,
right.
I love another brick in the wall. Like I love when Korn redid it. I love Pink Floyd's original version of it. Like I love all versions of it, but it's just I can't get into them fully. I don't. Maybe I'm not old enough yet. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I haven't hit that point in life yet where I completely connect with everything they do. But it just maybe I'll get there. Maybe. But what were your top? What were your top 5 for your album there, CJ?
So first off, my number 1 on that record is Lucky One. I love, just the way he sings that one. It something about his vocal phrasing on that song really just connects with me. Secondly, number 2, It Makes No Difference Who We Are. It kind of reminds me of Depeche Mode in a way, but with this really heavier vibe to it. Number 3 for me is So Long Sentiment. I love the way it starts out really kind of mellow, and then it kicks into that really heavy feedback, that almost reverb feedback that it has, and then it kicks in, once the reverb kind of mellows out, he starts singing like real melodically, and it's kind of got this kind of chill vibe to it till it kicks into the heavy chorus. Louder Than Words is number 4, and my 5th favorite one is Birthright, because Birthright is just a killer freaking song, man. Like it's really Celldweller summed up in a song. It's melodic, it's heavy, it's chaotic. It's got all of the EDM, but it's really everything that he does perfectly summed up in a song. So those are really kind of my 5 top picks for this one. So
interesting. We matched on we have 2 of the same ones so far, but Chancy, or your top 5 for CJCD?
Number 5 for me was Blackstar. Number 4 was I believe it's pronounced Eon.
Yeah.
Yep.
Number 3 was Lucky One. I like that one as well. I thought that was pretty badass. I do have to say though, for an honorable mention, it's basically every instrumental song on that entire deluxe edition.
Yeah.
Number 2 for me was Unshakable.
Yeah.
And
number 1 was The Arrival and The Departure.
Because Chancy loves his fucking he loves his like intro tracks and like his skit tracks. So,
but if I have to absolutely choose a song, I did choose Best It's Gonna Get.
Yeah.
And I knew Chancy was gonna love The Arrival and Departure tracks. I knew it. Like, as soon as I'm like, oh, this CD has non-verbal intro and ending tracks.
Honestly, my very favorite song on this deluxe one, I didn't mention it because it's only a 1-minute song. It's actually only 2 verses. It's Memories of a Girl I Haven't Met.
Yeah.
But I didn't put that one down there because it's only a minute long. But
if you like it, you like it.
Another one of them songs, like his voice is so kind of mellow and chill the way he's singing it, and there's really no music to it. It's just almost a cappella with this really low frequency vibe behind him. So, it just, again, like it showcases that Clayton is, the guy's capable of doing anything.
Yeah, and I mean, to me for this CD, I almost pulled the Jeremy, which is my name, and I almost picked I almost just went with the whole CD. Is fucking incredible. I can't pick top 5, like, because this CD brought me back to such good memories. But I did admit I got 2 honorable mentions, but I picked the top 5. So the honorable mentions I didn't listen to any of the instrumental tracks because I just didn't have time today. Otherwise, I've been out of work the last 2 days because my job apparently I left work on Friday, and as I'm getting in my car, I see all these cop cars and fire trucks pulling into the fucking building. I'm like, what the fuck did I do? But like it ended up apparently it was a dumpster fire of some kind. I don't know if it was a dumpster inside the building or outside the building. I don't know. But I've actually had 2 paydays off in a row now because there's still a company in there trying to clean it up. So, I mean, it's awesome. but it's also like kind of like I got sales to make. Like, let me back in the fucking building, but because I'm a telecom seller, so I need to be on the phone and be on my computer to be able to like make sales. So it's like I got people waiting for quotes. Let me in the building. But my 2 honorable mentions for this were Eon and Blackstar, because I love both those immensely. I mean, I love this whole fucking CD. I do. Yeah. If I could pick the whole CD in order, I would have, but I didn't want to do that. I try not to pull Jeremy's anymore unless it's my CD, and I couldn't even do that for my CD this week. But number 5 was So Long Sentiment, because that is an amazing freaking song.
Yeah.
Number 4 was Birthright, because like you said, that's such a good song. That's such a good song. And I mean, I always say it's my birthright to be an awesome human being, and I am. So, and to be a podcast goat. But number 3 is Louder Than Words.
Yeah.
Because like actions speak louder than words. I've loved that saying my whole life.
Words. Yeah.
And like that song was just amazing.
Yeah.
Number 2 was Gift for You, because I like the creepiness of that song. Like it has a creepy vibe to it. Yeah. And it reminded me of like a Marilyn Manson song in a way almost. And like I'm like, what's his gift for you? Is it STDs? Like that's the way this music sounds. It sounds like it's STDs or something. But number 1 was Against the Tide, because I love the line, you're reaping what you sow, that they say over and over again. And I am a big believer in you reap what you sow, which certain things that happened over this last weekend or yesterday kind of made me think of that a lot. So, I mean, to certain people out there, you reap what you sow. But yeah, so I mean, I love this CD. It was, you made me want to go. I have to listen to the other CDs now. Like I even asked my friend at work who's like a huge metalhead. I'm like, have you heard of this band? He's like, and like he knows a lot of bands I like too, and that he's not a fan of them, but he knows them. And it's just like he never heard of this band either. So I'm like, this is undiscovered stuff.
He might know Circle of Dust, because Circle of Dust is the first band that Clayton did, and it's almost thrash metal. It's very different.
I'll ask him. I mean, he likes he likes he's going. Yeah. He paid a shitload of money to go to Depeche Mode like concert this year. So that's like his genre of music is like 90s rock, because he's in his 40s.
That's when Circle of Dust came out. Is
all right. Well,
96, so
I'll remember to ask him that, because I'm sure he might know them then, because he loves like Megadeth and Depeche Mode, and he paid. I think either he paid or he was gonna pay a shitload of money to go to like a 2-day Metallica festival. So
I do have to say one final thing about this. When I chose this, I actually forgot that there was a disc 2 to this that was the instrumentals. The reason I chose the deluxe edition, even though I forgot that it had the instrumental part, is the track listing on the deluxe version of this is different than the main. If you listen to Wish Upon a Blackstar, the track listing is different than the deluxe version of Wish Upon a Blackstar.
Well, yeah, I mean,
there's a lot of different order.
A lot of bands that have like this kind of music, if you don't listen to the deluxe edition, you're not getting the full story.
Yeah, so
because their label says like cut down to 40 minutes, something like that. Like their label tries to hark on like do this, do that, and like they had to cut out songs that make sense. So trust me, my CD had the same thing, so I get that.
Yeah, I had totally forgotten that it had the instrumental section to it. So I didn't actually listen to the instrumentals because I've heard them a million times, but I forgot that they were actually there. So that's kind of cool that you guys did listen to the instrumentals and like them.
I didn't, but I'm sure I know I would.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, it wasn't really my intention to include that, and I kind of forgot it was there. I just meant the 17-track deluxe as opposed to the 16-track. Because on the 16-track one, Departure isn't on it. Departure is a cut that he wrote specifically for the deluxe edition. Because basically what it was, the difference between the first one and the second one is when he wrote the first one, it was released in 4 parts, like 4 songs, 4 songs, 4 songs, and 4 songs. Then on the second deluxe edition, he reordered it into the concept album part of it, and then he designed a comic book to go along with it, like an anime book.
Oh,
So,
that's kind of like the band I brought here a couple months ago when we had a pop star on, Gigi Rowe, a pop star. We had her on the show because she was trying to promote her album, and like I brought Within Temptation, and
Sharon is a fucking goddess, man.
She is, and I would
drink that woman's bathwater.
that sounds like something Chancy would do there for Christina Ricci, but
yeah, she's hot too. Like,
yeah, but I mean, so I brought in Within Temptation. I forget what the hell the name of the album is now, but it had like a 6-issue comic book to go along with it, and like a lot of other stuff to go along with it. Like it was a huge deal. The CD they put out, I forget the name of the CD now, but it had Signette on it. Like you're gonna love it.
I know the one. I can't think of the name of it though.
Yeah, it was that one, and like Chancy actually appreciated it especially once I told him like it had 6 comic books to go along with it. It had like multiple like videos that were like stories to go along with it. Like it was a big deal. Oh, The Unforgiving. That's what it's called. The Unforgiving. Yeah,
I'd say it was the one that had the singer from Life of Agony.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I love Within Temptation. Like a lot of their, I love them, but I also like, it's not every CD I love. It's certain CDs of theirs I love. Some CDs of theirs are just too soft. Like they're not Nightwish. They're not Nightwish. I'll put it that way.
Well, Nightwish isn't Nightwish much anymore. So,
oh well, I mean, now that Marco's gone, I don't know what the hell's gonna become a Nightwish. So yeah, but that's a whole nother topic. And we actually just did a Nightwish bracket last month. We did a 2-part Nightwish bracket, and it was shit. Fuck, I wish I knew you then. I would have freaking had you on it because I wish I had more people on it to actually appreciate the music. But
that's what I started my reaction channel with, and I was having so many problems with them blocking my videos and whatnot that I just quit doing Nightwish because it wasn't worth the hassle trying to fight the copyright strikes and shit they were sending.
Is it Napalm or who? I forget who the fuck their label is.
Century Media. But it isn't the label. It's Nightwish themselves. It's Tomas is a real stickler about people reacting to his stuff. So
I don't know why. I mean, he seems like such a nice guy, and like I've heard his Scrooge McDuck album he did, like the comic book for Scrooge McDuck. Like he did a whole like instrumental track like CD to it, and it's amazing. But
he's a brilliant musician, but he's very anti-reaction channel.
I don't know why. I mean, you think he'd realize if people actually heard his music and reacted to it, they'd be like there's this one African American gentleman I love on Facebook Reels that reacts to metal songs he never heard, like System of a Down or something like that. And like his reactions are so. Oh, you
would think he would appreciate the money we make them because, hey, if I do a Nightwish reaction and it gets 150,000 views, and my first one did. They get all that money. I don't get a dime of that money.
Yeah.
They get all that money. So that's 150,000 views that Nightwish got paid for my work. So but
yeah, that's so I never knew that. That's so strange to me. I mean, I've heard
He's not the only one. He's not the only one. Mark Morton of Epica is very anti-reaction channel too. So I've had problems with them.
I'm happy now because I almost brought Epica for this freaking episode. So
I am so glad you didn't.
I almost did because they were on the progressive metal list, and I'm like, I love Epica because it's Floor Jansen, which is the singer of Nightwish now, and I love her. But
Simone, it's Simon Simone is the singer of Epica, and I'm not an Epica fan. They're one of those bands that just kind of go over my head. Like, they rank up there with Ghost as one of those bands that people just hype up so hard, and I listen to them, and I'm just kind of like,
wait a minute, Chancy, that reaction. Do you like Ghost or no?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Ghost just wishes they could be King Diamond.
Like, to me, it's not that the music is bad.
No, it's just because the music's bad.
It's here's the thing for me. Like, I don't have a problem with Ghost music. But when I see him walk out on stage, I'm thinking King Diamond. So I'm expecting some fucking guitars. I'm expecting some. And then I hear fucking Bon Jovi, and I'm like, the fuck is this? Like,
yeah, I mean, I could see
you know,
that.
like it doesn't go together. And then I just, like I said, I don't get the hype. I really don't like, and that's fine. Like, if you like them, hey, awesome. Do your thing, boo, because, you know, you're cool. I don't have a problem with it. Just not my thing, you know. And I got 100 other bands I can spend my time listening to.
Exactly. I mean,
you know.
I'll tell you, out of the symphonic metal list on Wikipedia, and I listen to every fucking band in that list, I like maybe 3/4 of them, and that's being generous. So, I mean, I get it. Like, I get it. Like, it's just, they're not, they may all be in the same genre, but they're not going to be my style. I mean,
guarantee you, I've got records in my collection that are not on that list, and you would love, you know.
I'm sure. I wouldn't be surprised. I like a lot of stuff. I mean, I never heard of Dog Fashion Disco till Chancy introduced me, and I fucking love them. So, and Chancy, that was Chancy's first concert ever, and he fell in love with them. So
nice.
No, not my first concert.
Oh, I thought you said they were your first concert.
No, the Pledge of Allegiance tour was my first concert with like Rammstein, System of a Down, Slipknot, American Head Charge.
American Head Charge.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think it was American. I think you're thinking of American Head Charge because they were the first band up.
Yeah, because that's who you brought against Esham in the first episode because that was your first concert. Yeah.
Yep.
Which you haven't brought them back since, which is kind of surprising.
I won't age myself by saying that the very first concert I went to was 38 Special and Iron Maiden opening for Rainbow.
Nice.
Well, let me say this. I am a huge Iron Maiden fan, and we will be doing a bracket for them eventually because I love Iron Maiden, and it will definitely be a 2-parter because they have so many amazing songs. But
was it with or without Ronnie James Dio?
You're talking about Rainbow?
Yeah.
It was right after Ronnie left and Jolene Turner had just taken over.
Oh, nice.
So it was the very first tour with Jolene Turner. It was before Bruce took over. It was the very last tour they did before Bruce took over. It was 1982.
Nice.
It was March 11th, 1982. So it was before Maiden had even gotten big.
Yeah.
And 38 Special really hadn't had their big hits yet either because they hadn't released Hang On Loosely or any of that until like 83, 84. So, you know, none of those bands had blown up. So Rainbow was the headliner. And I was 11 years old and the old man took me to, you know, he wanted to see Rainbow. And I was like, okay, cool. I didn't know who any of the bands were. So at the time,
I forgot that Iron Maiden even existed without Bruce Dickinson. Like I honestly forgot that for a second. But
3 singers before Bruce.
And they didn't do many releases before that, I'm guessing.
No, they only they had Clive Burr, and then they had Paul Di'Anno.
Yeah,
and
Paul.
There was another guy who was just very short-lived in the very beginning. But I think they did like one record with Clive, and they did like 2 with Paul, if I remember.
Oh.
And Paul was the one singing when I seen him. So, you know, it was a good show. Like, they were impressive. And at that time, you know, that was sort of a new thing to me. Like, I grew up on like Southern rock and Bob Seger, Bad Company, that kind of stuff. So when I heard Maiden, you know, this was before Sunset Strip. It was before Metallica or any of those bands had really come along. So it was a different sound. It was exciting. Like, hey, here's this band just playing like demons out there, you know, and it was impressive. And
they said president, and they're not respected in this day and age the way they should be. But that's my personal opinion. But yeah.
They're definitely respected. They just,
They are but in more, I find they're more respected in South America and like other countries in Europe than they are in America.
Everyone know America's a weird place. Like
100%.
There's so many metal bands that are massive overseas. There's American bands that are massive overseas. Like Mr. Big sells 400 tickets to a show here, but then goes to Japan and plays Budokan and sells 40,000 tickets.
All to hear, I'm the one who wants to be with you. But yeah. That's the only song of Mr. Big I know. But yeah. But yeah, Iron Maiden will be getting a bracket eventually because I am a huge Iron Maiden fan. Like one of my best friends when I was in 11th grade, he gave me Iron Maiden's King Edward or something like that, like a greatest hits compilation. And like I fell in love with like Run to the Hills, Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter. Like I fell in love with those tracks, and I love
even his solo stuff.
Yeah,
even Bruce's solo stuff is amazing.
I've never heard it. I've never heard it.
You've never? I don't want to be a tattooed millionaire.
Maybe I have. Maybe I have.
Yeah,
that sounds familiar.
Yeah, he had the very first solo one he did was called Tattooed Millionaire, and it was very melodic. Like it was almost more hard rock than it was metal.
Yeah,
but it still had that Maiden sound because it was Bruce Dickinson.
Of course, yeah.
But brilliant record nonetheless, and everything they've done has been great.
Yeah, I mean, what the hell? The CD they put out in like 2007 or 8.
The one they put out with Blaze.
It was completely like, fuck, I can't remember what the hell it's called now, but. And then they put out Final Frontier. Like those two CDs are my favorite CDs by Iron Maiden because they're freaking incredible. Like, and the newest one that came out like a couple years ago, I like, but I'm not the hugest fan of.
That one's a little.
They're getting old.
Well, that one took a little while for me to kind of.
It had like Eddie being a samurai in the cover, and I was all down for it, but like.
The new Megadeth was that way though too. It took me 4 or 5 listens for the new Megadeth to really kind of.
The only Megadeth CDs I really like are United Abominations and 13.
Nice.
Like those are the only two. I mean, Rust in Peace. I'm not a big fan of, but I like those two. Those are the only two I really like of theirs. But that's just my personal opinion. But Chancy. We need to get to your CD because we're 50 minutes in already, and we've been having.
I was going to say we should probably go with yours next, since mine's the most unlike all the others.
You think so? Oh, okay, yeah.
I was going to say you think so. Fucking, what do you mean? Did you not listen to my album?
It was the last.
You're the guilty party who made me crawl my way back to Seattle.
Yes, I am.
Yes, well. Yeah, and Chancy, I did listen to your CD. Like literally, I finished it like 3 minutes before this podcast. So yeah, I started with CJ's and I went to mine, then I went to yours. But my CD was Kamelot's, which Ghost Opera: The Second Coming. Which don't you wish you were a child again? Just for a minute. Just for a minute. Hear the ticking of the clock. As I said, trying to find something to match your CD, CJ, sent me down a rabbit hole that I haven't hit in 5 years. I used to listen to CDs from different genres. Like I used to go down to genre on Wikipedia and just listen to every artist in order of their discography. And I almost brought so many bands to this one. I mean, like I literally said a message to Chancy, like a voice message, like I was at work. Like I'm like, hey, just so you know, like Dog Fashion Disco, Meshuggah are on this list, just so you know. But I'll let him tell the story of how I did.
The one that I almost did, and I wasn't sure, but it probably would have went over well with both of you. I almost did the new Devin Townsend Lightbringer record. And Devin is one of them people who's people are very polar about Devin, so I was kind of like, I don't know. So I kind of went with this one, but If I come back in the future, definitely I'm bringing Devin
out.
So
well, okay. Well, we already have a plan if you come back the next time, but we're definitely.
Yeah,
I'm gonna try
in the future.
I'm gonna try to get something set up with you, definitely like for like a monthly thing because it'd be awesome. But I know the name Devin Townsend, but I can't say I'm familiar with any of his music off the top of my head. But
it's save it for another show, dude. I'll talk for another hour about Devin.
But well, see, I almost brought Dream Theater. I almost brought Epica. Like I almost thought like Avantasia or Nightwish because like they weren't on the list even of progressive metal technically. So I was just like, I'll stick away from them. But
Devin is getting ready to go on tour and open for Dream Theater.
See, and there's this other band, I forget the name of them, but Christopher Lee sang with them a bunch, and like I almost brought them. Like,
that's
I can't think of the name.
I
know it's on the tip of my tongue, but I can't think of it. Oh my god, I know who it is too. I just can't fucking because hearing Count Dooku sing was like the highlight of me 5 years ago. That was the highlight of me 5 years ago, was hearing him sing actually on a metal record. Oh, I can see the name.
I'm gonna hate myself now because all
right, I am gonna figure that out. Well, I introduce my CD.
Ghost Opera. We're on Ghost Opera.
What'd you say?
I said we're on Ghost Opera.
No, it's fuck. But yeah, I brought Kamelot because Kamelot was a band I got into. I listened to like the symphonic metal list on Wikipedia, and I loved Kamelot. Like they were just a classic symphonic metal band. I love bands that tell stories throughout a. Rhapsody of Fire. That's the band Christopher Lee sang with a lot.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, Rhapsody of Fire.
There was another one too.
There was another one too, but maybe that's what I'm thinking of because I was listening to some Rhapsody of Fire like CDs when I was trying to like pick one for this show, and I'm like, none of these sound that familiar to me compared to the one I know he sang on. But anyway, Kamelot was one of those bands that I loved because they were like Nightwish, like Avantasia, like they told
Manowar. Manowar is the other one that he worked
with. No, I definitely didn't listen to that. Because I know who Manowar is. I just never was a fan. But I know who they are. But Rhapsody of Fire, I did listen to all their CDs. Right. I know that they were on the symphonic metal list. So, and to hear Count Dooku singing, like I literally called in my friend who worked with me. I'm like, dude, you want to hear Count Dooku sing? But because that's how I know. That's why I know Christopher Lee from besides Lord of the Rings. And I mean, it's just he was just such an accomplished man. I mean, he literally was James Bond. But Kamelot is one of those bands I just love. And when I was looking through all their CDs, I'm thinking, what CD should I bring? I had a couple in mind, but when I got to Ghost Opera again, I was like, yes. I'm like, Ghost Opera is the CD I'm fucking bringing because Ghost Opera is amazing. Like, it's just such a good CD. And until I listened to it today in full again, I forgot how good a CD it was. And I almost brought Arion too because like the Human Equation album is like one of my favorite albums ever. And like, because it's all about I believe it's all about a father with a son with autism. Mm-hmm. Like the whole CD is about it.
It's about Arden's son.
Yeah, and it's about like literally each track is day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, day 7. And it's like I was actually the first time I listened to that album, I was actually in tears because like, oh my god, this is beautiful. Like this is just pure beauty. But like it's just so many good bands in this genre. And I'm gonna have to go back to this genre. I'm really gonna have to because I love this genre. Like storytelling through music is the way music should be. Like Dogfish and Disco, or like rap, or like a lot of rappers, or like a lot of artists do this. But symphonic metal just hits the nail through the fucking head with it, literally. And I'm sure Chancy could think of a fucking different way to go with that saying right there, but because Chancy always gives me shit when I bring Nightwish or Avantasia on, but.
He likes them.
He likes them, but he also like it's not his thing. But
it's more worthwhile for me to fuck with him than it is to give him the satisfaction of being like, those ain't that bad.
But CJ, what did you think of Kamelot?
I love Kamelot. I have seen them live a number of times. I am a huge fan of Khan as a singer. Roy Khan was very sad when he left to do
Mhm.
Conception.
Yeah.
But
Go back to
it kind of
Conception,
is
yeah.
what it is. People grow, people move on, and I don't think Kamelot has been nearly as great of a band since then. The new singer he's a good singer, but he kind of lacks that fire in the belly that Roy had.
He had that voice.
And Roy had a voice that was perfect for these songs. It was very emotional voice, and he had the ability to sing very softly or very loudly, and Roy had that natural charisma that matched the style of what Kamelot did. So, that was what made Kamelot special. Was Roy was, such a gifted, not just singer, but a songwriter and a performer. So, I love this record. When you sent it, I was kind of like, okay. I couldn't see him at first because I went to Spotify. So that's why I asked you what it was. And once you told me what it was, I was like, oh, I know both of these records like the back of my hand. So, I had to kind of go back and listen to them a little bit to refresh my memory. But, they're both records that I've listened to more times than I can even count and whatnot. So I was very happy because I kept thinking to myself, God, please don't bring Eminem or don't bring Baby Metal or don't bring some band that I freaking hate,
That's funny you say that because, well, one, I didn't say this yet. As a Juggalo, I personally hate Eminem once he got clean. And I hate Eminem overall in general, but I can respect his first few CDs, but after that, it's just kind of like,
yeah. And, that was a thing. Like, I was just like, I don't mind if it's something different, but like, please don't make me sit through something that I absolutely hate. And I just kept thinking, please don't bring something like Drake or Lil Wayne or something that I really hate. And
you would never see
Kamelot and the Melvins. I was like, all right, cool. I'm totally down with these records. Let's go. I was ready to go right then and there. Like, so I was all good with
and as far as Baby Metal goes, they were actually on the list of symphonic metal on Wikipedia, and I couldn't get into them. Like, I respect them because, like, I've seen the post on Facebook where, like, people try to hate on Rob Zombie for hanging out with them, and Rob Zombie's like other metal artists have like commented on Rob's post, like pictures with him being like, why do you disgrace yourself by hanging out with them? And he's like, they're more metal than you are.
They are creepy to me. It's creepy to me.
It is creepy, but
that's the thing with Baby Metal. Again, it's not the music they perform; it's the look of old guys with their tongues out over these teenage girls.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
It's not about the teenage girls. It is about the teenage girls. No, it's not. Okay, well then, let me ask you a question. Well, what? If it's not about the teenage girls, and it's only because Baby Metal are great musicians, then explain to me why Fruit Perchet, Broken by the Scream, Passcode, Umilet, and 10 other bands who sound exactly like Baby Metal, but are full-grown female adults, couldn't get shit on if they were standing in a manure patch. But Baby Metal is the greatest thing that ever lived because you have a bunch of teenage girls dancing around in short skirts. Yeah, exactly. It's the pedophile factor. It's just all it is to me. Like, look, it's a bunch of old guys ogling a bunch of teenage girls. That's all it is to me. It's not the music, because if it was the music, all those other bands I named that do exactly the same thing are in the same scene, are part of the same musical group, have some of the musicians that they share. Fruit Perchet's band and Baby Metal's band are interchangeable. So you tell me why Baby Metal is famous and Fruit Perchet is not. Other than Fruit Perchet are 26 and 28, and Baby Metal is 16 and 18.
Are they still, though? Like Noize now, what are they still? I
don't know if they still are, but when they started, they were.
Yeah, when
they
started,
still look that age.
Makeup does amazing things.
And they just added a third member who looks even younger. So,
well, I mean, it's Japan. They sell freaking panties, used panties in vending machines.
I understand, but doesn't make it any less creepy.
it doesn't, but Japan's a creepy place at times. So, what can I say? But I mean, I'm glad you like Kamelot, though. I had a feeling you would when you gave me your album. I had a feeling you would like them. But Chancy, what did you think? Because this is not your genre of music typically, and I'm kind of curious.
Man, I struggled. I struggled hard, and not for the reasons you would expect. So, like CJ was saying, I don't have Spotify Premium, so it kept skipping about. I didn't get the whole album in a single run, so I had to go to Google, look up the fucking track list, and search track by track by track by track. Fucking Jeremy, I swear to God.
You're telling me that this wasn't on YouTube Music somewhere?
No, it was not. There's one fucking song off of this album that's on YouTube Music, and the rest of it's in a community playlist, and the rest of it's all from something else.
You're kidding. So, I freaking
no.
I used to when I was listening to all these albums originally, I used YouTube. Like I had YouTube Music.
So no. YouTube, yes, because they have the videos and all this other nonsense. But YouTube Music, they have the band, they have all their other albums, but that album's not listed.
Yeah.
Did they have the original album at least?
No.
They didn't have Ghost Opera? Just Ghost Opera?
No. They didn't have either one of them.
Black Halo dominates a lot of music places for Kamelot. If you look at Kamelot, Black Halo, you'll see over and over and over.
Yeah.
Really
I don't even know if my top 5's off of that album. I mean, I'm pretty sure it is, but I looked them up, and if I got it wrong, you know what? Fuck you, Jeremy. I tried.
Don't worry, Chancy. Next time CJ comes on, the album that I am going to choose will be completely on YouTube. Don't worry about that. So,
all right, fair enough.
I already know it is because I used to listen to it on YouTube on a daily fucking basis on YouTube Music and all that. So, once again, I tried not to pull Jeremy on this album. I do have 4 honorable mentions, but I tried not to pull Jeremy because it could have been 18 songs instead of 9. But my honorable mentions are starting with Morning Star because I love the monk chanting in the beginning. I love that type of shit. Number 8 was In the Silence of Darkness because that's just a damn good track. Number 7 was The Pendulous Fall because the guitar solo at 3 minutes is fucking incredible. Like, it was beyond belief good guitar solo. And then number 6 was Season's End because it's like literally a perfect funeral song. Like, play that at my funeral. Like, don't say goodbye like we'll never meet again. Like, I love that. Like, that to me is perfect lyrics. And I mean, the whole story for this album is fucking incredible. But number 5 is Ghost Opera. And Chancy, can you guess why? Because it kind of relates to another song that I'm kind of big on in a bracket we did not long ago.
Yeah, who's shocked there?
Yeah, I mean, it made me think of the better version of that song called Ghost Love Score by Nightwish. But number 4 was Anthem because that's a beautiful fucking song. Number 3 was Eden Echo because that's another beautiful fucking song. Number 2 was Love You to Death, which I literally, while I was listening to it in the basement this afternoon, editing our podcast episodes, I sent it to my wife and I'm like, if we ever renew our vows, this song's getting played when we dance after we renew our vows. And like that keyboard opening is incredible. And it's Amanda Somerville, who was in like 4 songs in this album. But she is one of my favorite female metal singers because she is just her, Floor Jansen, Tarja, however you pronounce it.
Tarja,
yeah. And it's Finnish names, man. Come on. And
that's the funny thing. Like, so many people get that wrong. They're like,
yeah,
Tarja. It's not Tarja, it's Tarja.
Tarja. Yeah, because the J sounds like a Y in Finnish, and her, Annette Olson, and countless others. I mean, the lead singer from Within Temptation as well. But like they're all in my favorite female metal singers. But Amanda Somerville's voice is in my top 3 because she is just incredible. I was looking at her specifically for this episode actually, and I was looking at other bands she worked with too, and I'm like, a couple bands she's in I wanted to bring, but I'm just like, no, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it like I'm feeling Kamelot. But Love You to Death is a beautiful song, and it's just a perfect love song. And it kind of reminded me of Ghost Love Score in a way too, the vibe of it. Not really the music or the lyrics, but the vibe of it. And number one, right away it rocked my world, and I forgot about it for a while, but as soon as I heard it, probably right back to it. Roll the World. Because it has the Moulin Rouge sounding music in the background. Like it has like the Moulin Rouge background music in the background. And I love the lyrics in it. Sometimes I tremble like a frightened child. Sometimes I wake in the morning with a broken smile. Like I can relate to that. Like I felt when they said that, when fucking what's his name said that, I felt it. I know you just said CJ, but I totally forgot his name in that time. But
Roy Khan, yeah.
Yeah, Roy. I want to say Roy. Thank you. I thought it was his name. I didn't want to be wrong. But yeah, when Roy said that, like I felt that. Like
Khan! that's how I always remember his name. Because his last name is Khan. That's how I always remember it is Khan. Yeah. So
I love that. I love that as a Star Trek fan. But like sometimes I tremble like a frightened child. Sometimes I wake in the morning with a broken smile. Like I feel that shit. Like that is part of my life sometimes. So I totally get that. Like, it's just, especially sometimes I wake in the morning with a broken smile. Like, it's just like, I get that. And like, that's part of the reason this album sat in me so deep is because of that. So Roll the World is just an amazing song. And fuck, everybody wants to rule the world. This is Tears for Fears. This is a better song. So, but as the guest, what were your top 5 songs there, CJ?
As someone who has seen them live multiple times,
lucky bastard.
I've seen them at Prague Power twice.
Oh, it's one of my dream festivals. One of my dreams.
I've gone to Prague Power 5 times, but mostly I go on the years that Evergrey is there, and it just so happens that 3 of the years that Evergrey has been there, so have Kamelot. So that's kind of how I've seen them. Is I didn't set out to see Kamelot; they were kind of there with Evergrey. So, they got lucky. They got me in attendance because of Evergrey. But anywho, number 5 for me, I have "Love You to Death." Love that song. Number 4, "Rule the World." Number 3 for me is "Anthem." Number 2 is "Up Through the Ashes." My favorite Kamelot song of all time is "The Human Stain."
Yes,
I just love the aggressiveness of the song. I love the way that even as heavy as the guitars are, his voice is just kind of really, sort of mellow. He has this almost whispery tone where like he's whispering through the noise, and has a sort of, even though it's a really heavy song, it has this kind of haunting, ghostly aspect to it that is really cool to me. So those are my 5 for
I love "The Human Stain." It almost made my list. It almost did, but I don't know. I kind of missed it.
It's a killer live song too. Like it's one of those live songs.
Yeah.
As soon as they start playing it, the audience is just like.
I mean, when I was listening to it on the album, like I literally, like in the beginning, I was hyped up as shit for it, and then like in the middle, I kind of fell off, and at the end, I kind of got hyped up again. But there's just too many other good songs I couldn't put on my list. But I almost have a feeling it's gonna be Chancy's number 1, but we'll find out. Because Chancy, what are your top
5? Number 5 for me was Blucher. I did that mostly because of Young Frankenstein.
that is a good song. I could have pulled a Jeremy on my CD and CJ CD. I really could have. But
Number 4 was Up Through the Ashes. Number 3 was Eden Echo.
Yep.
Number 2 was Silence of the Darkness.
Yep.
And then number 1 for me was Solitaire.
Really?
No, I'm playing. It was The Human Stain.
I knew it. I fucking knew it. This is how well I know my fucking co-host. This is how, because I know when he's gonna pick something as number 1, and it's because that's the most.
It's a killer song, man. Like
it's a good song. Yeah, I mean it's not bad.
You know, it's one of them songs that just has a lot of great elements, and it's just a well-written song on every aspect. Like, you know, whether it's the bass, whether it's the drums, the guitars, his vocals. I mean, it's just such a well put together song, man. Like it's, you know.
Well, see, Chancy likes a lot of bands that deal with like that talk about like political or like worldly things. So I knew Human Stain would be his jam.
Nothing wrong with that, though.
Nothing wrong with that at all. I mean, I love System of a Down for that reason. But like, it's just I knew that. I know Chancy well enough to know that by now. But Chancy, to finish this episode off, what CD did you bring and why did you want to bring it?
Honestly, I almost brought Raised in Black, which is a fairly unknown band. I haven't really met many people who know who that is.
That would have gone perfectly with the Celldweller.
Yep. And I was talking to Jeremy, and I was like, and I also had mentioned it on the previous show. I was like, oh, I almost picked the Melvins and brought them on there because there was, talk of a lot of, Seattle sound and stuff like that. And I was like, and I was talking to him. He's like, who? I was like, oh, dude, I'm picking the fucking Melvins. I'm fucking nah, dude. We're listening to the fucking Melvins. So I brought, oh yeah, King Buzzo. Fuck yeah, man. I brought Houdini, which is, I love the album cover, nice double-headed dog and fucking just like almost, it's not quite like a Norman Rockwell from Hell painting, but it's pretty close.
Kind of is.
And they're just like all the the fact that Kurt Cobain helped with a couple of the songs on there. It's a great. It's not. I wouldn't recommend it as like a starter for the Melvins.
Supposed to be talking about the good aspects of the record, not the bad aspects.
I don't know. Spread Eagle Beagle's pretty funny. I mean, that's a good song. I don't know.
There's no words.
So what's wrong with that?
How's it funny if there's no words?
What do you mean funny? It's a good song.
You said funny.
Well, it is funny.
There's no words? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So everybody talks about how great Kurt Cobain is as a lyricist and this, that, and the other. No words. It's irony. For fuck's sake, Jeremy.
I don't think Kurt Cobain's that great, buddy. I hate to tell you.
I'm not on that bandwagon. This is just what people say. I'm just saying it's ironic humor.
My wife worships Kurt Cobain, as I said last episode when we did Nirvana, or two episodes ago. And there's literally a poster. There's literally a cloth poster of him in the back of our door, and I think she may look at it during intercourse. I'm not sure.
I know. Oh no, we covered that. I know. I remember.
But I mean,
I'm so sorry.
I don't think she does, but I have my doubts here and there. But still, it's just one of those things.
But yeah, I've always been a fan of the Melvins, man. Like, just their will.
My wife was born in 91, and I think that's like 2 years before Kurt Cobain died. I'm not sure, but
yeah, somewhere in there, a couple like 2, 3, 4, somewhere in there.
Yeah, so I mean, her mom and dad were both huge in that scene because they were from that era, where like Nirvana made it big. So like she grew up loving Nirvana, and she still to this day loves Nirvana. Like she listens to their songs constantly. But like I like Nirvana's hits, but I don't like the other stuff really.
Go ahead.
I have my own I won't say political. I have my own reasons for not liking Nirvana that are kind of related to that, but not really related to that. So,
well, let me ask you this, CJ. Do you think Courtney Love did or no?
I think Courtney drove him to it. I think he was a heroin addict because of Courtney. But as far as pulling the trigger, I'm kind of 50-50 on it. Like Kurt was fucked in the head long before that. So, Kurt had a lot of problems that people like to gloss over and kind of deflect on. And, they like to point the finger at Courtney. And I'm definitely not a fan of Courtney, and I'm not defending Courtney in any way, sense, or form. But, to say she pulled the trigger, I'm not 100% convinced of it. But, did she egg it on? Did she drive him to that point? Yeah, I would probably say, I'd probably eat a gun too if I had to be married to Courtney Love. So, I mean, in all fairness, I was friends with Andrew Wood. So, Mother Love Bone, very important to me. And, Nirvana only existed because Andrew died, and it created that vacuum in Seattle that had to be filled by somebody. And Nirvana just happened to be that band that fell into that. And then, Soundgarden and Pearl Jam and the rest of them sort of filled in the gaps. But, I say to this, I've said all along, and I say to this day, if Andrew Wood does not overdose on heroin, Mother Love Bone becomes the predominant Seattle band. Nirvana is a blip on the radar and never gets famous, and Pearl Jam never exists because 3/5 of Pearl Jam was in Mother Love Bone. So, you never get Temple of the Dog if Andrew doesn't overdose, because Temple of the Dog was a direct tribute to Andrew. You probably don't get half of the Soundgarden songs because half of the songs that Cornell wrote for Soundgarden in the end were tributes to Andrew, basically. Say Hello to Heaven and Black Hole Sun and Rusty Cage. Those are all direct tributes to Andrew, So
it's funny because Chancy brought Soundgarden on here before.
Yeah. So I love Soundgarden. I mean, I love Seattle. I love grunge. I love grunge going all the way back to where grunge started, which was not Seattle, but actually Minneapolis, with Soul Asylum and Husker Du and Fugazi and, all of the amazing bands that Bob Mould created before and after Fugazi and Husker Du, including Sugar and Morphine and Sister and all of those bands. But I'm not going to get off track and ramble about that. But,
well,
I'm down with the Melvins. I love the Melvins. Different kind of beast and amazing band, man, for what they did.
Well, it's actually your time, CJ, to bring your review of Chancy's album.
I love the Melvins. I love the Melvins for what they did. Are they technical experts? No. Are they ever going to be on a list of the greatest musicians? No. But so what? Because there's a beauty in what Buzz does. There's a beauty in what bands like this did, and it was just the fact that it was raw emotion. It was raw power, and it wasn't about being the prettiest. It wasn't about being the best. It was just about laying it out on the line and bearing your soul. And that's what made it great. That's why people related to it. Wasn't because it was the newest thing or it was the fancy thing. It was because, you know, it was a generation of malcontents who wanted something different than a bunch of guys dressing up in leather and denim. And that's why you got the Melvins. That's why you got the Lemonheads. It's why you got Soundgarden. It's why you got Limp Bizkit and Rage Against the Machine and, you know, all of the bands that came during that generation. It's because you had a bunch of pissed off adults and a bunch of pissed off teenagers who wanted something more than Uncle Tom's Cabin or Cherry Pie or, you know, shit like that. And there's nothing wrong with that. I love that generation of music, but again, I was excited for grunge. Like when these bands started coming out, it was a different beast, man. And it was cool to hear bands that would just play with reckless abandon. And, you know, it was almost like punk again, where it didn't have to be pretty. It didn't have to be technically precise. It just had to be aggressive and it had to be loud and it had to convey something. And that's what this record does. You know, whether you take the Kiss cover of Going Blind and turning it on its head, or you have like Kopachi that is just this kind of grinding heavy song, or you have Honey Bucket, which was, you know, about 4 times the speed of what the Melvins normally played at. It was almost a thrash song in the essence of what the Melvins normally did. So, you know, for a record that wasn't super long or super complicated, there's a lot more going on in this record than people really ever gave the Melvins credit for. So that's kind of my thoughts on it.
Well, let me give my review of Chancy's album here, which Chancy always looks forward to my review of his albums for many reasons. But I absolutely love this album.
About time.
This is one of Chancy's albums that he brought that actually surprised me, because a lot of Chancy's albums are like 90s. Every band sounds alike albums, whether it be Tool or, which, if I'm not mistaken, CJ's favorite album that he told me in an email was Tool's Anima.
Jesus Christ.
Sorry if I can't pronounce a word I never heard before you brought it on the show, but yeah. So I mean, whether it be Tool, Bush, or a lot of the other 90s albums that Chancy brings.
Jimmy's Chicken Shack. I love those guys. One of the funnest concerts I ever attended, man. I'm telling you, like, they opened for 311, and we went to see 311, and Jimmy's Chicken Shack opened, and they were so fucking fun. And then 311 got up there and just sucked. It was so bad. It was just like, are you serious? Like, you let the opening band kick your ass, bro. Like, and not just a little bit. Like, Jimmy's Chicken Shack stomped the shit out of 311 that day. And it was like, okay, you got this, like, backwards. Like, 311 should be opening for Jimmy's Chicken Shack. And, you know, and I love saying that name too, you know, Jimmy's Chicken Shack. It's such a...
It's a good name. It's a good name for
it's a great fucking name, you know, especially for a band. But,
I mean...
Anyway.
A lot of the bands Chancy brought, I don't like, or I don't prefer. That's a better term. Some of the bands he brought, like War or Dogfish and Disco, or oh my god, who does Purgatory Dance Party?
Polka Dot Cadaver.
Or Polka Dot Cadaver. Nice.
Like, I haven't heard that name in so long.
Like a lot of those bands like that, like I end up loving, and like I'll listen to their mixes on Spotify just for shits and giggles. But like Dogfish and Disco is now one of my like probably top 30 bands, because it's a long list. But like they're probably one of my top 30 bands, as well as Purgatory, as long as Polka Dot Cadaver. But like, and I mean, Gwar I hadn't really checked out since he brought that one CD on. But like, I've heard.
Shame on you, sir.
I listen to music for this show. That's pretty. And then other than that, it's just my liked songs on Spotify. Like I don't check out new shit when I'm driving to work. Like when I'm driving to work and driving home, because usually when I'm driving home, I'm drinking or smoking or both. So I just want stuff I know. But that's why I love this show, because it interests me in new shit. But whether it be you or the guest, and the guest usually brings something I never heard of 90% of the time. So, which I love. So, but the Melvins, I never heard of. I never heard that name in my life. But I did, like I told you earlier, I didn't have a drive to work today or a drive home from work today to check out these CDs like I usually do. Like that's how I usually listen to these CDs, is like driving, and I'm typing in a messenger my like list while I'm driving. You know, as safe as that is. But the Melvins I actually enjoyed. I actually enjoyed them. They were punk and they were heavy and they were good. Like I actually enjoyed them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I enjoy a good punk band when they're actually good. A lot of punk bands suck ass, but I actually enjoyed this band to a degree. So, well done, Chancy. You get applause. And I enjoyed them. Like the Melvins were good, and I enjoyed the CD. I mean, out of these three, it might be the CD I enjoyed the least, but that's a high bar to hit. So, I mean, it doesn't mean shit, basically. Because Kamelot, and I never heard of Celldweller, but I will be checking out their other CDs now because of CJ here. So, because I love concept albums. I love concept albums. Like concept albums get me hard is basically the best way to put it. So, like
little too personal there, but
oh, if you knew me, that's not personal at all. But
I'm just fucking with you.
But yeah, concept albums are my thing. I mean, Avantasia, Nightwish, my two favorite bands of all time.
Avantasia is awesome.
I almost brought Avantasia for this. I almost did. I've brought the Scarecrow and I've brought Ghost Lights. I was gonna bring a different one for this, but
I got a really good friend who sang on the Ghost Lights record.
Who?
Adriana Cowan.
Oh God.
From Seven Spires.
Yeah, I know who she is.
Yeah. She's sang with Sasha Pates, Master of Ceremonies. Now she's out on tour with
Oh, Sasha Pates was part of Kamelot as well for this album. But
for producer, yeah.
For producer, yeah.
He's actually original part of
yeah, I can't think of it, but I know who you're talking. I know who you're talking about, but
anyways, the guy who does Avantasia, Tobias Sammet.
Tobias Sammet, yeah.
He's in the band with Tobias.
Ed guy.
Yeah, that's it.
One of my friends on Facebook, Andrew Johan Douche, or how do I pronounce his name? He just did like one of those like, I'll list my 10 favorite bands and you named your favorite song by them. And one of the bands he listed was Ed Guy, and I was like, King of Fools, of course.
Yeah.
Like Ed Guy will be getting a bracket. Avantasia and Ed Guy will be getting brackets on the show eventually. Trust me. But because I love Ed Guy, like it's just classic 90s British rock. But
metal the way metal was intended to be played.
Exactly. But but yeah, I mean, but yeah, I love concept albums. Like that's my thing. Like two of my favorite bands do concept albums, and a lot of my top 30 bands do concept albums because it's just my thing. I mean, even Insane Clown Posse does concept albums to a degree. So it's my thing. But I enjoyed this band, Chancy. You've done well today.
Maybe that's a thing for a future show we can do down the line too, is each one of us brings our favorite concept album.
Interesting, because I'd love to see what Chancy's is. But I have a feeling it'd be like Tommy by the Who or something. But
nah.
Or I don't know. He could figure out something.
I'm not. I'd have to scrounge out and see if I could find one, because I mean, it's not that I don't like concept albums. It's just that I haven't.
if you already didn't bring Adultery by Dogfish and Disco, that'd be a good.
I know, dude. I don't know if I would almost think about bringing it back if it's solely for a concept album. We don't double dip. I get that, but if we're doing it for a theme based thing, then
there's already so much music in this world. You don't double dip, no matter what. But
I don't know, man. For as far as if I'm gonna have to go with the concept album, I would have to say that probably Adultery would be my favorite concept album because of the story it does tell.
I might allow it only because that was my first impression of Dogfish and Disco, and my love for Dogfish and Disco has grown a lot since then. So I might give it a re-listen just for that reason. But
it's so bad, man. It's so bad. I wish those guys would come around more often.
But are they even together anymore? I forget if they're back together or not. But
yeah,
because I know they all broke up and formed their own bands and then came back together.
Oh well, yeah, they broke up a long time ago and they got back together in the teens, and then the Rona hit. And
do they even perform those songs anymore, or do they just do their new?
Oh yeah,
you don't like?
No, they do their if it depends on what they have available, because they had a band open up for them. I think the name of the band was called Gigi and the Moneymakers or something like that. And they had a horn section, which allowed them to do so many different stuff, just so much off of their Committed to a Bright Future album. Like they were able to do Pogo the Clown, all those other things, because they had the actual horn section to go with it.
It's funny, CJ, because we did a serial killers bracket on my paranormal show. And when John Wayne Gacy came up, Chancy did a little bit of a version of the chorus from Pogo the Clown.
Nice.
It's a classic mode in my paranormal episode there. But Chancy, for your CD, what were your top 5?
I actually had an honorable mention on mine. That was Going Blind. Mm-hmm. And number 5 for me was Lizzie.
Mm-hmm.
Number 4 was Sky Pup. Number 3 was Hooch. Number 2 was Spread Eagle Beagle. And then number 1 was Honey Bucket.
We matched our number 1. We matched our number 1.
Honey Bucket, I really dig Honey Bucket because of the fact that it's like a grungy punk metal.
It is, yeah.
And it's really different for what they normally do.
For sure.
I'll get into why I love it when I get to mine, but still, it was just it was my number 1 as well. So I'll get into it though when I get to mine. But CJ, what were your top 5 for Chancy's album?
For number 5, I have Hooch. For number 4, I have Kopechi, because I love just the grind of that song.
Yeah.
Number 3 is Set Me Straight. Number 2 is Going Blind. I love that they did a Kiss song and just turned it on its head. And
is that a Kiss song?
Yeah.
And,
I never heard that.
Number 1, we all matched. I have Honey Bucket. So,
well, I'm amazed I never heard that because I am a huge Gene Simmons / Kiss fan. I am a huge.
It's a Gene
Kiss
Simmons song too. So
I
think
Kiss...
Going Blind is on. God, I want to say it's on Dynasty.
I don't know their albums like that, but I mean, I'm a huge Kiss fan. They'll be getting a bracket on the show eventually too. But
I want to say it's on Dynasty. I was positive it's on Dynasty.
I mean, yeah, it's
on Hotter Than Hell. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay, but I was gonna say, I mean, I love Kiss, but I also love that Violent J gave him shit, when he was like, Gene Simmons, Psycho Circus, you stole my shit. But I love that.
Was a terrible record. I'm sorry, that was a terrible record.
I've heard that before, and I'm not surprised. But I like their 70s, 80s shit. That's what I like for Kiss, their 70s, 80s shit.
I'm a big fan of the 80s and early 90s shit. I like the no makeup Kiss much better than the early stuff.
When they just look like the Jews they are. Yeah.
But there's something about that era that there was just Bruce Kulick had a different guitar sound, and it was much beefier than what Ace was or anyone. So
we'll be getting into Kiss eventually when we do the bracket for them. No worries there. But because see, Kiss isn't one of those bands where I can bring on a full album because there's not any full album of theirs I really love. Like I like their hits, and like we could easily do a 32, 60, or 64 bracket of theirs, and I'd be in heaven. But I can't do one of their full albums because there's a lot of songs their albums I just don't like. But
Asylum would probably be the only Kiss record for me that I could just do the whole record.
Yeah.
Other than that, it would very much be pick and choose.
Yeah. I mean, but and Chancy, I did get one honorable mention for your CD because I did enjoy it, but I mean, it wasn't my usual thing, but I did enjoy it. So my honorable mention was Capace because of the guitar.
Yeah.
And then number 5 was Night Goat, which no one else mentioned when I was amazed because Night Goat's a damn good song.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
Number 4 is Going Blind because I did love that song. I didn't realize it was a Kiss remake, but it was really good. Number 3 was Lizzie. Number 2 was Set Me Straight, which I don't think anybody else mentioned, but I love that song. Like, Set Me Straight was a damn good song. And then number 1, as everybody else, was Honey Bucket because the first 1 minute and 30 seconds of that song were fucking incredible. Fucking incredible. Like, the first minute and a half of that song are fucking incredible with the guitar solo and everything else. Like, I fucking loved it. Like I was listening to the CD and I was editing our last episode of the show that we did this past Saturday. And I was listening to that song and all of a sudden I was like, what is this? And like, I went and looked at this name of the song. I'm like, I have to write this down. Like, it's so fucking good.
Yeah.
And like, I actually wrote it down, like right as that minute and a half was ending. Oh, you just woke up, baby girl. I know. But they were actually sleeping for like the last hour and a half. So it's been all the one's still sleeping, but the big one's yawning loud as fuck. But yeah, so Chancy, good job. I'm happy you brought the Melvins. What was your original choice? I'm a Sugar CD? Yeah, I'm happy.
No. Oh, when I was talking to you, yeah, but when I was looking around for stuff, I was thinking about bringing Raised in Black, which is it's like an industrial, like symphonic style. It would have been right in line with the other two you guys picked, but like super underground. Like
I never heard of them, and I almost wish you brought them.
They did a Metallica tribute, like an industrial Metallica tribute.
Well,
that was really amazing. So
I've always been a huge fan of Rommel.
Yeah,
but
I would have been down with that one too. That would have been another one I would have been totally like to see, because it's again, it's a band that most people would not think of.
Oh no. Yeah, and I got to thank Stacy for showing that one to me. She definitely came in clutch on that one.
Yeah, they're great. Like if you're into that style of music, then
Well,
yeah, my first exposure to them was Oh My God, and I was like, oh my God, this is fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's it. That's a crazy thing about music. It's the best thing about music is you literally have the ability to change classic songs in amazing ways. You have ways to create things that are so outside of the box most people would never think of. And you have the ability where your only limitation is where your mind can wander to. I mean, you have people like DJ Morgoth who take Willow Smith in Creator and mix them together to make these incredible mashups. You have people who remixes Raised in Black, who took Metallica and completely turned it on its head and turned it into this industrial synthwave type of thing. And it sounds incredible. You have Iron Horse, who has done a dozen bluegrass tribute bands, everybody from Green Day to Metallica to fucking Tom Petty, and they've taken these classic songs and turned them into bluegrass songs.
And I meant to say earlier, not to de-age both of you, but my first concert at 11 years old, 12 years old, was Smash Mouth.
Nice.
And no,
I wouldn't tell people that, Jeremy.
I tell people that just to tell them that it fucking was horrible. And we actually left before they even got to the good songs.
Like, I mean, I've seen worse bands.
I was literally in 6th grade, and like my whole 6th grade class was at that concert in our like it was the original capital of New York, but it was still like a small city, and like my whole 6th grade class was there basically with their parents, and like my parents like halfway through the concert were like, "You guys want to go?" And we're like, "Yeah." My brother and me, my brother's in 4th grade, I'm in 6th, and he's like, "They're like, you want to go?" And we're like, "Yeah, let's go." Because they didn't even get to All Star or I'm a Believer, and like the rest of the shit was just garbage.
Yeah. Like, I laughed the other day because I was looking at the concert announcements. And when I seen the concert that's coming up, I had to laugh. In 1991, I went to see Living Color.
Oh, I fucking love Living Color.
Now, whoever the sound guy was that night deserved to be drugged into the street by his testicles and beaten by a bag of wet spaghetti. Because he was fucking horrible and he ruined the concert. It was the worst concert I've ever heard in my life. The band did not deserve the sound treatment that this sound guy gave them. You couldn't hear Corey singing at all. You couldn't hear the guitars. The only time you heard Vernon playing guitar was when he climbed up on the top of the guitar amps and was standing up there. The drums were so loud that's all you heard the entire night was just a dum, 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 dum. It was terrible. The only concert I've ever demanded my money back.
Well, I mean, I'm trying to think. There was a concert I went to like that, and I can't think of who the fuck was playing, but like, it was just a horrible sound. Like, I forget who it was now, but I mean, I've seen Motley Crue, I've seen Aerosmith, I've seen Poison, I've seen Lita Ford, and like they all had amazing sound. And who the fuck was that? And like, I can't even think of who. I mean, I saw Cradle of Filth, which is one of my favorite bands, and they sounded fucking incredible.
I demanded my money back. The club manager said, "Well, I can't give you your money back, but I can give you free tickets to the next concert." What's the next concert? I said, "Well, it's Winger and Lynch Mob opening for Extreme. Give me the tickets. I fucking love Extreme." So I laughed yesterday when I looked at the concert announcements to find out that Living Color is on tour opening for Extreme. And I was just like, that's fucking hilarious that 30 years after I seen Extreme because Living Color sucked, Living Color is now opening for Extreme. So I'm going to...
Whoa, wait. Living Color didn't suck. The sound guy fucked him.
Okay, let me rephrase that. The Living Color concert sucked.
There we go. Okay.
Well, let me say, Chancy brought Living Color on the show once. And
they're an incredible band.
Oh, dude.
I mean,
I still haven't figured out how to play Cult of Personality's guitar riff on my guitar.
I mean, I like them to a degree, but other than Cult of Personality, I didn't really dig any of the other tracks fully.
What? Fucking Letter to the Landlord? Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Dude, I'm a devotee. Every time someone mentions Tom Morello.
Oh, yeah.
All due respect, I like Tom. But if they're like, Tom Morello, I'm kind of like, but have you heard
Vernon? Yeah, dude. Fucking Vernon, man.
I mean, and they're like, who?
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, the guy who created the sound that Tom ended up copying, basically.
I mean, the only reason I know Tom Morello's name is because of Guitar Hero, because you can unlock him.
Yeah.
But
it's only because he copied his entire style from two other guitarists.
Well,
you
just described the music industry.
But I'm saying, like, Tom Morello, Tom is so innovative. No, Tom took Vernon's style and added Buckethead's kill switch to his guitar. And that's what it is. You have Vernon Reid with a kill switch. That's what fucking Tom Morello is. You know.
Speaking of Guitar Hero, I loved because when they put Cult of Personality on Guitar Hero 3,
Yeah.
Vernon actually came in and recorded a new version of like the solos. The bass, like the standard verse tracks are all still the same and everything, but the solos he did differently, and I think he made it more difficult for the game itself because it's just it's so fucking sick.
That song was impossible to beat like on hard, like impossible.
Yeah, I beat it on expert.
Super great guys.
Well, you're a guitar
great.
player. You're a guitar player.
Guitar Hero actually helped me be a better guitar player.
I mean, it was
not really. A lot of people, a lot of actual like people who have trained or taken lessons or have done a lot of that stuff. They say that Guitar Hero it's like against their nature because it doesn't match up here. But for me, it wasn't this that helped me for playing guitar. It was this.
Yeah.
Because like while I'm playing, I'm listening to the notes and I'm like, oh, okay. And then I pick up my guitar and I go up the fretboard to try and find these notes. And I'm like, okay, well, there's this note. Okay, well, realistically speaking, this note's here. Then I got to find this note, okay, well, there's this note.
Well, it's also 4 buttons versus like 7 or 8 strings?
Actually, it's like 5 buttons, if I'm not mistaken.
No, 4. It was red, green,
blue,
it's yellow.
Orange.
Oh yeah, there was 5. Yeah, that if you played hard, there was 5. If you played easy, there was 4.
Yeah.
But I got to meet Vernon and Will.
Nice.
But I actually met them at or after a Fishbone concert. We went to see Fishbone, and they were actually at the show, and we kind of ran into them, and we got to meet them, and that was very cool. Like, I love that they were just kind of hanging out in the crowd at a Fishbone concert.
Nice.
And Fishbone is another one of those bands, dude, that you got to see them live to really understand what they do, because they are just one of the craziest, funnest live shows you'll ever see, man.
I mean, the show I mentioned before was the best live show I've ever been to. Like I got to hang out and smoke cigarettes with Scum and do shots and do like Jaeger bombs with them. I got to get my picture taken with like Young Wicked and Bones Dub of Axe Murder Boys. I got to get my picture taken with like Sex Master. Like I got to meet Q-Tip at that concert. Like that concert was dope. It was at the smallest venue in Worcester, Mass, which anybody who knows Massachusetts knows that's a juggalo town. And like I got to meet so many artists at that show. Like it was fucking incredible. Like I mean, I knew some of the artists who were like local artists. Like I known them from Facebook and shit like years before, like Cadaver and shit like that. But and apparently Casket the Monster performed there too, but I just didn't know who he was yet because he wasn't dating Misty yet, and I knew his now almost wife Misty before that because she's a hot Facebook model. So.
I tell you, one of the Juggalo rappers I got to meet who was cool as fuck, and that was Gmo Ski.
Oh my god,
Gmo was hilarious, but he's a tiny little dude. Like
he's tiny as shit, but I would love to meet him. Like when I saw the video of him drop kicking like a hater off the stage, like that was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, he's a spaz, bro. Like he's a complete spaz, but funny as fuck and really cool dude. Like
I have to bring Gmo on this show so far, but the problem is we don't get a lot of people who bring rap albums. That's the problem. Yeah. And like, if people don't bring rap, I don't want to bring rap into it. Cause then like, it's like, do you even like rap? Like it's one of those things. Like I did bring Snoop Dogg like a couple episodes ago against Nirvana and Alice in Chains because it was the guy originally wanted to bring Wu-Tang like 36 Chambers, but Chancy already brought that in a previous episode, so he couldn't bring it. But I knew he liked rap then, so since he brought like Nirvana's In Utero from '93, I brought Snoop Dogg's
Doggy Style.
Yeah, I'm the dude. I would bring like if I was doing hip hop or doing rap, I would bring Vinnie Paz or Immortal Tech. I would bring Apathy or Diabolic or Chris Webby or somebody like that, like I would bring more of the underground.
R.A.
the Rugged Man, somebody like that,
Chris Webby was already brought in the show once because we have a friend named Q from Bracket Bashers podcast. Well, a friend / associate from Bracket Bashers podcast who he worships Chris Webby. And like he brought
so, man.
Chancy doesn't think so, and I
know I get it. Like
I'm on the fence. I respect what he does, and I like his music to a degree, but like he will never
Webby's
match.
A goof. Like, you know, Webby is one of them guys who he's kind of a goof. So you gotta just take it for what it is. You know, so you know, like I said, I'm one of them guys. I don't listen to a lot of mainstream stuff. So
me either. But
I'm always going to bring something kind of left field. But
well, I mean, I love that, but I mean, because you'll never see me bring anybody pop on this show ever.
Oh yeah,
like
I
hate like our associate Q's wife brought Linkin Park on the show because she's like a pop person, and that's as pop as I'll get. It's like Linkin Park or like one of those bands I grew up with, and like I brought Savage Garden because I wanted to bring something she would actually listen to.
I love Savage Garden.
I love Savage Garden because like when it comes to romantic songs, they have it nailed. Yeah. But
Darren's probably one of the best concerts I've gone to. His solo show. Darren Hayes is a fucking phenomenal singer.
Oh, I mean, I would love to see Savage Garden live. I would, because like their 2 albums they did were fucking incredible. But I mean, and like Chancy brought Van Halen to that show because that was as pop as he gets. But
no, it's not necessarily about as pop as I get, but
can't go wrong with Van Halen, though. I mean,
fucking A, man.
And he brought the self-titled album as well. But
it's fucking Van Halen.
It's Van Halen, bro. Like,
I'm not gonna hate Van Halen. I love "Running with the Devil," which was on that CD. Like, I love "Running with the Devil." Like, that's one of my favorite songs. So, like, that's been my theme song since I was a teenager. So,
I was gonna bring 1984 to that episode, but I figured out
Junior's grades.
Have you seen Junior's grades, dude? When I finally learned how to play that on guitar, because I was playing it the hard way, so I would like do the actual A chord. And then the 3/5 on that on the AD string. I don't know. I can't read music, so you'll have to forgive me. So I'm literally going like I'm playing the whole chord, like the power chord. So I'm doing all this extra bullshit that I don't need to fucking do. And my buddy's like, "No, dude, this is what he does." So he just does this thing. I didn't pick up my guitar for like a month. I was like, "Man, fuck that! God damn it, Eddie! How dare you fucking deceive me in such a fashion?"
All right,
that's the thing, like. Van Halen, bro. Go ahead. Sorry.
We have to. It's almost 2 hours. We got to end this episode. But
okay.
We are definitely gonna have CJ back on, if not a monthly basis, like on a recurring basis, because I feel like we can go deep with this guy and he'll fucking get a lot of the shit we're into. But before we go, I gotta ask: do you like Powerwolf?
I don't dislike Powerwolf. They're not somebody that I would listen to every single day, but
I can.
They're not somebody that I would turn. This is the way I put a lot of records. It's not something that I would put in the CD player, but it's not something that I would run over and take out of the CD player either. You know what I'm saying?
All right, I respect that. I respect that.
Yeah, like if somebody put it on, I'd be completely 100% okay with it. But.
Well,
yeah, my first choice.
The next time you come on, sir, bring your Christian rapper who you said has 4 albums and it's freaking amazing, and I'm dying to listen to him. So
NF.
I can't wait to hear NF. And I have an album in mind. I've been waiting to bring it on for 6 months to almost a year at this point, because we've been doing this podcast for a while now. And I've been dying to bring this album on. I brought one of their albums on when it was just a me and Chancy episode. Well, it was supposed to be a guest, but the guest had a family emergency and had to back out for a week. So me and Chancy did a solo. So I've been dying to bring another one of their albums on, and we'll get there. But we'll see. I'm not going to even after we get off live, I'm not going to reveal it because I want it to be. I want it to be a surprise. This album is one of my favorite albums of all time. Okay. But
I'm cool with it. Whatever it is, like even if it's something I hate, I'll listen to it and give my opinion on it. Because whatever.
If you're down with Scum and you're down with other underground rap artists, I doubt you're gonna hate it. I really do, and I guarantee it's an album you like. But
yeah, I probably very likely will like it.
If you like Scum, there's nothing they do that's more corrupt than what Scum sings about. So, but where can they find you, CJ? That's the last part of this.
It's real easy. Go into Google, type in Music God CJ Plain. Pretty much everything will pop up. You can go on YouTube. You can look up the Noize Report. It's Noize with a Z. Or you can look up Music God Reacts. That's the reaction channel. The website is riotonthesetmedia.rocks. There's a bunch of stuff there. I'm still kind of trying to get content on there. I've had the website forever, and I rarely remember to post to it because I'm a lazy bastard, and I'm going to college to be a record producer. And, I don't know why at 52 years old, it's a good idea to be a record producer now. Mostly because I've been doing it for my friends locally for 10 years and not getting paid for it. And I figured, hey, maybe I want to get paid for this shit at some point. So, but yeah, just type in my name as you see it right there on the screen. I'm all over Google and YouTube, and you'll see all the reviews I've written for different online sites, and you'll see my website, my YouTube, my Facebook is on there. Pretty much all of my social media is Music God CJ Plain, just one word. Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok are all Music God CJ Plain. Facebook, I think it's just CJ Plain, facebook.com/blah, blah, blah, CJ Plain. But that'll come up if you type in Music God as well. So that's kind of the moniker to look for. Just type in the Music God, and that'll be me.
And if it's saying Clown Posse doesn't pop up, it's him. But Chancy, you know what to do.
Well, outside of the Book of Faces, I can be found on TikTok and Instagram at the Red Eye Roundtable. On Twitter, it's Red Eye Table because, fuck you, Elon. You won't let me put all the letters in there, you son of a bitch.
Right.
I'll do it, as many shows as I can get a hold of. We'll podcast for exposure. If you can't find me there, then I would check the Void.
Well, if you're outside the Void looking, you know me. I will expose myself for podcasts. And you can also find me on Facebook as Jeremy Bryant, or you can find both of us on Paranormal Normal / Maniacal Music Musings podcast with the S Facebook group. Name changing soon. Chance we talk about that this week. You can find me on Twitter and the Gram as @Juggalo Bastard. You could find me on TikTok. You can find both of us on TikTok as @Juggalo Bastard Podcasts. Name change coming soon. And you could find me on both of us on YouTube as Maniacal Music Musings, where this is streaming right now, is one of many locations. And until next time, you muser lovers. Yeah, sick muser lovers. You love us. But until next time, we've been thankful to have CJ on because it's been a fucking 2-hour blast. And he will be on, if not on a monthly basis, on a very regular, recurring basis.
Yeah.
We get to have a guest that loves music as much as CJ does. So
yeah. Just give me 30 minutes of warning and I can make it happen.
I will be shooting you what we have open from June forward tomorrow. Don't worry.
Awesome.
And after June, it's pretty much open all.
Thanks for having me on, guys. Seriously,
our pleasure.
This was as much fun as I've had on any show I've ever done. So,
fuck yeah, man.
Fuck yeah. But after June, it's pretty much open every month. So we'll be in discussion. But we may just skip May, but maybe we can get a weekend show in or something. We'll see. But until next time, just sit there and take care of yourself till your musers get back. Peace out, everybody. Say goodbye, Chancy.
Goodbye, Chancy.
they met, she was 15. Like a black rose blooming wild, and she already knew she was gonna die.
What's tomorrow without you? This is our last goodbye.
She got weaker every day as the autumn leaves flew by, until one day she told him, "This is when I die."
What's summer like for you? She asked him with a smile. What's tomorrow without you? He silently replied,
I will always be with you. I'll be anchor of your sorrow. There's no end to what I'll do, 'cause I love you. I love you to death. But the sorrow went too deep, the mountain fell too steep, and the